Did it ever occur to you that we could borrow past life memories? Why do you think there's so many Cleopatras reincarnated right now, or Napoleons, or any other big name from our histories? Well, if we look at the big esoteric picture, we're all one anyway. So yeah, they could all be Cleopatras and Napoleons and whatever, Queen of Sheba. Um, But if we come down to the more individualized experiences, how can there be so many at one time on Earth claiming to be these big names? We are able to download past life memories from other experiences, kind of like the movie The Matrix. We can download all these talents and abilities, blink of an eye. Um, there were a lot of, if you've seen my previous videos, I had temper tantrums with my team all the time. All the time. Like, oh, shut down. No, I'm not talking to you guys. But that was my way of I'm overwhelmed or I'm really frustrated with you guys, or sometimes angry. I'm angry with what happened. Um, and I need time to process and calm down and put some distance. Okay. That's my justification anyway. Um, I once went to a psychic fair. It was my first time at this fair. And I was like, ooh, I get to be the one to receive a reading. How exciting. And one of the people I visited was a palm reader. Now, watching the energies, yes, I know that there's lines that are attributed to such and such. I get that. I understand that. But this guy not only was interpreting the lines, but as soon as he touched my hand, he was reading my energy as well. And I made the mistake of saying that to him. He got very offended and cranky about it. Um, anyway, so he's doing this reading, and this is back when they used audio tapes to record. And so he was recording this. And I'm watching him and I'm listening to him. All of a sudden he stops talking and he's like this. And then he looks up and I'm like, oh crap, here we go. So when he was looking up, I could feel the energy in the room change. And I'm like, okay, somebody just entered his body, is what happened. He was channeling. And the message that this being that came into the reader's body gave me um, did not sit well with me. It scared the jeebies out of me. I'll explain in a minute. Anyway, so he gives this message, and then all of a sudden the eyes change, and the guy goes back to reading my palms like nothing happened. Nothing happened. Totally unaware of what just happened. So he finishes up, and I had a friend in a different part of this place getting a different type of reading done. And I motioned to her and I went like this, that I was going to go outside and smoke a cigarette. That's back when I smoked. Um, I went to the farthest part of the parking lot and I started chain smoking, and tears were running down my face. I was probably rocking too. That's one of my self-soothing things. So after she's done with her reading, she comes out and she said, "Are you okay?" I don't want to talk about it. I can't talk about it right now. And the tears are still just running down my face. So I was staying at her place for the weekend, I think. And later that evening, she goes, "Are you ready to talk about it?" I said, "Yeah, I am." Um, Now, this is very truncated. I am not giving the whole conversation, but this segment pertaining to this video was me sharing what the guy said and my reaction to it. So when the being came in to the palm reader, he said something along the lines of welcome Jesus who is not Jesus. Whoa, time out. No, no, no. I am not Jesus. I am not even close. Yes, he was human. That's the only thing we have in common. Anyway, um, I closed my team off. I was like, nope, nope. Um, I need to work through this. So 2 years later, I have something about 2 years. I'm a slow processor. I opened up the link to my team again and I said, okay, we need to talk about this. Why did he call me Jesus who's not Jesus? I know I'm not Jesus. I have memories. I have a lot of memories of his life. So much so as a child in Sunday school, I would get in trouble because I'm like, that's not right. That's incorrect. Or there's more to that than what they're saying. Um, but I couldn't tell them how I knew. I didn't know how I knew. So anyway, I was talking to my team and I'm like, okay, the memories growing up of Jesus's life. But I know I'm not Jesus. How is this happening? What is he talking about? What is this? And they're like, kind of, well, if you had asked us then, we could have cleared this up immediately. Like, yeah, we're here now. Let's do this. They said there are Jesuses who are not Jesuses on this planet. At the time, there's like 1,000. I'm sure that number has just since. And they said what it meant was that you came in with abilities to help show people, look, if I can do this, so can you. And that's what Jesus came to do, to show everybody, look, this is what you can do. He didn't want to be worshiped. He just wanted to show. He wanted to help. But anyway, they said he wasn't calling you Jesus. We know you weren't Jesus. And I said, then how come I have these memories? And they said, oh, you borrowed them. Okay, explain. They said humans can download other lifetimes of other people if they need some information for there to bring into this lifetime. So, Cleopatra, I don't know what each individual needed to have memories of her for, but it somehow related to what they were here on Earth at this time for. So they borrowed those memories. I'm like, okay. Now, it doesn't mean everybody that has past life memories borrowed them. I have some past life memories I didn't borrow. They were mine, my souls. So the borrowing of memories helps provide information. Okay, so for me, some of the information that I downloaded that I brought forth was that Jesus spent many years traveling, 33 years, traveling, or the missing years. He was traveling all over. He learned from everybody that he could. And I knew this. It wasn't in the Bible. The preachers and the priests didn't talk about it, but I knew it. I knew what happened at the cross. I knew things that weren't in the Bible because I borrowed those memories. Um, for example, maybe I needed what it felt like to be persecuted and stand strong in your convictions and your truths, even though you're being persecuted. Maybe that's why I have it. Maybe I had it because I had to learn not only from my team and my life experiences, but from others as well. Just like Jesus did, he traveled and he learned from others. I'm not sure why I downloaded it. That wasn't part of the memory that I brought in. But we're able to download other lifetimes experiences for our help in this life, to help us in this life. Um, The other part of that is, how can somebody like me get information on, let's say, Cleopatra without having downloaded her lifetime information before it came in this body? Again, on the big picture, we're all one. We're all connected. We're from the same source. But on the more individualized side, everything's stored in like the etheric spiritual cloud. All the memories are there, also known Akashic records. Everything's there. So you can go in and retrieve information, specific information, um, if it's within your soul plan, if it's okay for your soul plan, um, of other beings' lifetimes or a section of lifetimes, to get some understanding about what client A or what maybe I am going through at that particular time. You can receive information where it's like this, or the big picture is because of this. So I know that's kind of vague, but you have to go and find out for yourself. Go through the Akashic records. So yeah, you can have borrowed, or somebody else could have borrowed, not everybody does this, memories from other persons' lifetimes to help you through this one. Thanks. Bye.